We're back with the prep school for this challenge, and we're looking at the students' grades again. So we want to group these up into different groupings. So for the grades, so what we're going to do is we're going to pivot the data first so that we have all the scores in one field and all the subjects in another. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the new tile functionality to create these groups for our grades. So how do we do that? So if we go into the score, then we go to the create calculated field option, and there is this tile option there. This was my first time using it, so if I just expand out the calculation window for you, then what you will see is that it starts off where the number of tiles is on 1. Carl told us we need 6, so we increase it to 6, and we're adding in this group by subject, so very similar to ranking, fixed LODs in prep. And now we have these groups from 1 to 6, so 1 having our highest scores. So if I click on 1 here, you see that it's our highest scores that get reflected, and 6 are the lower scores. Okay, so then we want to replace these with grades. So grade 1 here would be an A, and then grade 6 would be a F, and then replace also these numbers with, say, a 10 for a grade A, and then a 1 for a grade F. So I thought the easiest way to do that would be to duplicate this grade group, and then just double click in each value and write in A, B, C, D, E, F. You could, of course, do it with a calculated field with an if statement, but I just think that it's easier to point and click in prep. So that's what I did. And then for the points, then I just similarly just overwrote the values for these 1 to 6, overwrote them with 1 being 10, 2 being 8, and so on and so forth. So you can see that we have A is equal to 10, F is equal to 1. Okay, so next up, what we want to do for each student, we want to know the total points that they've scored. So sum up these points for each student. So if we use a LOD to do that, we're using quite a lot of analytical calcs for this. So it's quite a great challenge for practicing that. So we're grouping by the student ID and summing up the points. Then we want to take the average of this field across each grade. So that's another level of detail calculation. If I expand that out, then you'll see that we're going to the total points per student. The LOD we just calculated in the previous step, and we're taking the average and grouping by the grades, and rounding this to 2 decimal places by another calculated field. Okay, and then what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to look at these grade A average total points, and we want to know which students have scored more than this. So I'm just going to take this value and make it appear on every single row. So that's another level of detail. So I'm just taking the maximum of this field here, not grouping on anything, so that I can interact with it in the filter. So then when I come to do my filter, what I've done here is I've just got my total points per student has to be greater than the average for students with at least one A. And then we get down to this data set. So we've got about 1,939 rows here now. And then we want to filter out of this data set any of the subjects for which those students got A's in. And then we're left finally with this data set of all the students who scored above that average of those students who scored at least one A. And we've removed those subjects for which they scored an A in. And then you can see that basically I think the point of the exercise was to see that even though you may score F in some subjects, for example, you can still be doing better than average overall across all subjects. So hopefully you enjoyed that challenge. I think it was a great opportunity to play around with a lot of different calcs. So thanks very much for watching.